Hey, welcome, folks. We are live on Iconic Radio here at the Iconic Cafe. Glad to have you down here. It's been a busy night. We want to thank the Osceola Lions Club for coming in and having their banquet and meeting at the cafe. Brenda cooked up some meatloaf and some spaghetti for them, and we'll find out how they did. And like now to introduce our guest, Mr. Eddie Kurowitz.
Hello, everybody.
Eddie, glad to see you here at the cafe. And, of course, we got Mr. Bill McDonald down here, owner of XCRS. And who's your friend, Bill? Linda, how you doing? Go get a root beer float, will you, Linda? Enjoy it on it. So, all right, it's been a busy night. And we're going to start out. Eddie's got a new band. It's a great project called KZZ. And we're going to start out with the first song. It's called Oscillate. So here we go. On Iconic Radio. We're back. That was Oscillate. And Eddie, why don't you tell me a little bit about the band and what the song's about?
Well, the band is the KZZ Project, and that is short for the Kilowatts Zap Zane Project. Zapolsky, Zanatowski, Kurowitz. Those are our real names. It's much easier to say KZZ, though.
Yeah, it must be tough introducing the band, you know, when it comes to that.
I can't even pronounce my own name, let alone, Zapolsky and Zanatowski.
And, of course, you guys are from the west side, right?
Yeah, all of us, yeah. South side, west side.
And so you guys are back together again? Why don't you explain a little bit here?
Okay, yes. We actually, the three of us formed a band back in the 80s called A Web of Lies. And I took the name from a Max Ernst painting. And we started off three-piece, playing things like Joy Division, Camper Van Beethoven. We just did a lot of obscure things, you know. And we added a violin player, Gretchen Priest, who added a whole new dimension to our band. We were four-piece. We played for about 3 or 4 years back in the 80s. And then we kind of disbanded and just drifted apart. But here we are back together again after like 20-some years. And the music is just fresh as ever. You know, we're writing a lot of music. And that was one of our originals.
Well, I know, and I remember back then, too, with the Web of Lies and all that. But what I always enjoyed about it, Eddie, it was so new. I mean, there was no boundaries that you guys wouldn't uncover. I mean, you were there for the music and for the art. There was no other intention.
Exactly, yes. The art just went hand in hand with the music. There were so many talented, creative people that all hung out together back then. And, you know, organizing these art shows, you know, Bruce, our friends James Deeb and Michael Kurowitz, Kate Sloan, Lynn Million, a lot of very talented people, you know, showcased their work back then, and the music went right along with it. We just enjoyed composing music, you know, to go along with these shows.
Yeah, and what was neat about the Web of Lies, Ed would make a spider web, which would be in back of the band, and it would be huge, about 6 feet, about 10 feet wide.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would glow in the dark, sometimes it'd have lights on it, things would be tied to it, but it was just very cool. I still relish those days, Eddie. Those were fantastic.
And Bruce, you used to run lights for us, too, occasionally.
Yeah,
and,
well.
Do you remember the projector?
Yeah, that is a sad story because I was doing it, and then my girlfriend at the time wanted to leave, and I left Eddie. I did with the projector, and I apologize sincerely for that because there were some other yahoos that got in there, and he was up on stage, and there's all this weird stuff coming on the projector, and I was nowhere to be found. So yeah, I do apologize for that, Eddie. But that was cool because it was like the 60s stuff where you had a bowl of water, and then you'd put these different, you know, just food coloring or something in it. And then the heat of it would make it go like a lava lamp. And I mean, it was fantastic.
I think that you killed the goldfish, though.
Yeah, well... yeah. Well, that was in my lesser days, I guess. But
well, I have news for you. We're getting another projector.
All right. Well, I'll stay away. I'll be. Well, Eddie, hey, we're getting ready. We're going to do another song now. This is coming up. It's called "Space Between." Eddie, what's this song about here?
The space between. I think that the lyrics to this song are kind of abstract, but in this day and age, the space between people, human beings, has been reduced to practically nothing. I mean, you know, instantaneous communication. It's something about that. I'll let you judge for yourself. The music and the lyrics, I think, kind of fit together. Hopefully.
All right. Well, okay. We'll be listening to KZZ Project and The Space Between. Hey, we're back here at Iconic Radio with Ed Kurowitz, Kilohertz.
Hello.
Well, thank you, Eddie. Hey, that was a great song called Space Between. I'll talk to Eddie about that. But first, I got to give a shout-out to my good buddy, Adam Nelson. When you go in the cafe and you're looking at the menus, that is a great, fantastic design by Adam Nelson. He does great work. It's called Daisy and Dad Designs. Custom T-shirts, graphic design, promotions, marketing, and anything really. And his brochures are at the cafe, too. So please, shout out to Adam. Always appreciate it, and give him some business because he does a great job. And what I like about him, too, is he personalizes it. You know, when we got together about the cafe, I told him what I wanted, like a guitar on the cover, just make it artistic, and he really came through. So, Adam, always appreciate it, and we look forward to having you on, too. So, all right, back to Eddie. Space Between. Give me a little bit of what that song's about there.
Well, actually, Gary Zapp, John Zane, and myself, we were in Gary's basement, which is where we rehearse. And John has an electronic drum setup, which is pretty much, his main setup. And he had just got it, and we were playing around with different sounds and that. He came up with these fantastic sounds, on his drums, and that's kind of like what instigated that song. We just started jamming and came up with the idea pretty much on the spot. And then, of course, it was recorded live, and I embellished it a little bit, with some vocal work. And that's how that song came about.
Great. Eddie, too, we were talking when this song was playing. How'd you even get started in music? Can you go back? Give us a little timeline here.
Sherman, set the Wayback Machine. Yeah, way back. I started dabbling around a little bit just in my senior year in high school back in 73, a little before that. And I had an acoustic guitar, but then I played bass guitar for about a year. And even further back than that, I played cello. I played cello in grade school, and I loved the cello. But I didn't follow through with it. So, I played bass for a short time and gravitated back toward guitar, and I've been playing guitar ever since. I moved to Chicago in the mid-'70s and played in a band up there called Clocks. And Clocks had 3 guitar players, so I had a lot of competition up there. And since then, I've been mainly interested more in 3-piece trios, guitar, bass, and drums. It is a challenge, but I relish that, challenge to come up with guitar parts, that can fill out the sound of a 3-piece.
Well, when you're composing, do you compose on a guitar or do you compose on a piano, when you're writing your stuff?
Mostly on the guitar. I've done a lot of keyboard work too, but I don't have a keyboard at home at the moment. I had a piano at one time, which is kind of cool to sit down and, you can play some chords and get ideas, but it's mostly writing with the guitar. And just thinking of ideas in my head, even without a guitar, when I'm away from it, I retain those ideas. And when I get a hold of a guitar, then I can flesh them out,
Okay, when you retain, so you don't have to write down your ideas. Once it's in your head, you got it.
Pretty much, yeah. I keep a lot of these ideas. They're always floating around in my head, and... you never know when they're going to come to surface.
Now, is that the same with your artwork? I know on Facebook, it's Ed Kurowitz on Facebook. You've been putting your artwork, though, the boxes. This is something new you've been doing, or?
Relatively new. I went through a period in my life a few years ago where I was just making shadow boxes. All sorts of found objects, discarded items, that people have no use for. I find use for them, and I construct these little miniature landscapes and scenes, inside of boxes. probably done about maybe 40 of them over the period of a year and a half.
What I like about them is, of course, I used to do photography a lot, but it reminds me of how when you look through a camera, you are limited to the box in a way. And when I look at your work, it makes me think of that, because I try to stay in the box. It almost forces you to.
Exactly. That's a good way of putting it. It's like you've got a whole little world inside of this box. You're focused on what's inside of the box, and it's like a little stage set,
Yeah, and you can see it. You show them on Facebook, right?
I do. I've shown a couple of them on Facebook. I would like to eventually maybe, have my own website where I can put everything on.
Oh, okay, that'd be great.
See.
Hey, any gigs coming up with the KZZ project?
Thanks for asking. Yes, we have a show at the Hoosier Tap.
Where's that at, too?
It's on 718 Indiana Avenue in South Bend.
Okay.
And that's October 25th, and it's actually going to be a Halloween party. It's on a Saturday night.
Dressing up? Are you dressing up? Or?
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm not going to say what, but...
It'll be good.
Oh, yeah. So it should be a lot of fun. And there are going to be prizes. It's actually the owner, Hogg, it's going to be his birthday party, too. So it's just going to be a blast. I hope everybody can make it out. The following Friday... Actually, Halloween night, the 31st, will be at Jack's in Lakeville.
Oh, okay. Oh, that'll be great. We just got 2 more minutes. I don't want to stray from KZZ, but you also got a Clocks reunion coming up in Chicago. Can you give a little bit about that?
Yes. Clocks is the band that I was a part of, back from 78 to 80, 81. We're going to have a reunion November 15th. In Chicago. We haven't played together as a group for well over 20 years, so it should be a lot of fun. And we did most of the original music in that band, so that's pretty much what we will focus on that night. We're not going to play the whole night. We're going to be featured and do like a short set, and there'll be other musicians and other bands up there playing in addition. So that's November 15th.
And where can you get tickets for that?
Well, there won't be tickets. It's actually in a club, so there'll be just like a cover charge.
Oh, okay.
Anybody who's interested in going up, maybe I can arrange to get a caravan, and
That would be really neat. In fact, I'll keep a promo in that on the radio show each week coming up for it.
Oh, thanks, Bruce.
And what's the name of the club? It was the Cobra Club, or
the Cobra Lounge. It's going to be at the Cobra Lounge in Chicago.
Well, it was great, and many years ago, we got to go up and see you play with the Clocks, and where was that venue at?
Oh, that was at the China Club, which is no longer there.
But that was very cool. That was really a great show. I mean, just going up Chicago, the night scene, and it was a great night of music, too. Gosh, you guys were on that night.
Yeah, you witnessed us, firsthand, the chemistry that we had, back in the days, when we started out. Was there that night, and hopefully it will be there again on November 15th, Looking forward to it.
Oh, that'll be great. Well, hey, we're ready for another song. This one coming up is called Amnesia. And just for a second, we got about 40 seconds. Playing at the Phoenix this weekend. Friday night will be Red Alert. Saturday will be Trouble Walking. And at the 5-Star Dive Bar, it'll have Friday night Shock Roxy. And Saturday night will be Drive. And don't forget the South Bend Record and CD show. That is Sunday, September 28th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that's at the Comfort Suites. That is 52939 State Road, 933 at Cleveland Road. So I'll give some more information about that. But, Ed, I think you go to those, but we're going to go to the song coming up, Amnesia. Is that all right? Oh, it's not
Amnesia.
Oh. Oh, Toil and Trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. My fault. We were still live. That's why we're at the cafe. All right, we're back live with Eddie Kurowitz, and while that song was playing, and that was Toil and Trouble.
That was Toil and Trouble, not
right.
Amnesia.
Excellent. And I was asking Eddie, and I said, Eddie, as your music changed, from the beginning, and so you want to go with that?
And not changed in the sense that we still have the same influences and the same passion, and it's almost to where we're intuitive now about how we play together and the things that we bounce off of each other. Everything we do and write, it falls into a certain pocket, It's like most of the original music that we put together now comes out sounding very much like the KZZ project. We have an identifiable sound, I believe, and we also play a very diverse set of music as far as covers go too. I mean, we're all over the map, but we just love the music that we play.
Yeah, and one thing we talk too is about there's no dictatorship, which I feel and hear in bands now. It's one guy's in charge and everyone else does and to me it takes away from the music.
I mean, there's nobody minding the store in our band. It's like we all just bounce ideas off of each other, and like I said, it's very intuitive about how we put things together. It's a fun band. They're like brothers to me,
Well, and I think, too, as you said, too, you guys communicate. You really listen to each other.
Yes.
And that's one thing I hear in bands not doing. One guy's just out wailing on the lead, another's trying to stay with him on the bass and the drum. And I've always known that with you guys, even from way back when. You listen to each other and feed off each other, which, to me, is what it's all about.
And improvisation. We're very big on improvisation. We love to jam. We don't get lost very much if we stray off into a jam. We kind of know and we kind of feel when to get back into where we started. We're not afraid to go out on a limb at all.
So when you play live, your songs can last 10 minutes. I mean, can you do?
Yeah, we can stretch them out. We can make them interesting. On any given night.
Oh, and I think that's what keeps it new and just keeps it alive.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish more bands were doing that today. I know they want to crank out, covers, and I don't know. To me, entertainment, I guess, is more like that when it's spontaneity.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And would you tell that to kids starting out, too? What would you tell young musicians?
Keep an open mind. There's a lot of good music out there, if you're going to start off, copying the classics are always going to be out there, but just seek. There's so much great music, just seek out the obscure stuff too, and you can learn from everything.
Oh, that's great. Well, hey, I always want a big thank you to Bill McDonald, owner of XERS, for letting us have this show.
Thanks, Bill.
Yes, it was great having him be a part of it. And, of course, we'll have Jimmy Lovett next week. We're going to do the Whitmer McNeese story. So, and I don't know if you remember Mac McNeese. He owned Whitmer's music store. Gosh, I don't know, 30 years in it. I know you bought a bunch of guitars there.
Yep.
I've bought stuff. Mac was quite a character, but he was the store in, I think, northern Indiana, back in his day. So Jimmy's nice enough to come on next week, and we're going to do a couple shows with him, just like we're going to do with Eddie, because another show we want to talk about the Glue Trap tours we used to do and get more involved with Clocks, which he's got coming up. And like he said, that's November 15th, and he'll have it on Facebook. I'll put it on the radio Facebook. And like you said, we'll try to get a caravan to go down there and see what it's like. So, well, Ed, a new song coming up. This one's called Amnesia.
This one's Amnesia.
Okay. Thanks for getting that definite with me. So, Iconic Radio, and here we go with Amnesia.
silence fell upon us. I was choking on the tranquility. Then someone breaks a promise and introduces a frequency. We were frozen for a moment. Beyond this, I have no memory. My mental days lie dormant, waiting to come back to me. Who am I? Tell me, who are you? And is there something we can do? I have been here before. It seems so strange. I can't put the pieces to the puzzle. I'm not so sure. Something's changed. I can't quite put my finger on it now. Glass of water, like a whirlpool, it never swallowed me. I nearly reached the bottom. I was drinking to my memory, fill in the blanks. Where I've known that place, another time, another place. I have been here before. It seems so strange. I can't put the pieces to the puzzle. I'm not so sure. Something's changed. I can't quite put my finger on it now.
That was Amnesia by KZZ Project. Again, we're at the Iconic Radio talking to Ed Kurowitz. Eddie, we're just talking while the song was playing about your influences. And why don't you give me a little bit, who's some bands you've listened to that really kind of, bring out your music now?
A couple groups that come to mind, that played a big part in my life with Genesis, King Crimson, from the old days. I still love King Crimson. As a matter of fact, they are actually touring and doing a couple shows in Chicago with a brand new lineup. I love Steven Wilson.
Okay, who's that? That doesn't sound familiar to me here.
Steven Wilson is a songwriter, guitar player, multi-instrumentalist who had a band called Porcupine Tree, who they are no longer together, but he's solo now. He just released an album called The Raven That Refused to Sing. It's brilliant. It's just one of the most brilliant things that I've heard in recent years.
Oh, wow.
He's a huge influence on me right now. I have to name Jeff Beck.
Yes.
As a guitar player, he's probably been one of the hugest influences on me over the years. And I can name a couple current groups that I think are very interesting that have caught my attention. One of them is Boards of Canada, Bellbury Polly, and I love John Fox, who used to be in a band called the Ultravox. He's got a new band called John Fox and the Math. Very, very interesting stuff.
Now, where do you listen to these at? Are you on a radio station, or is this just music you buy?
I search for this music. I mean, a lot of these artists, I know, but I stumble across some of these groups also, by accident, and then I become intrigued with their music, and then I start following them, on iTunes, YouTube, any place I can find it on the internet. I seek out the most obscure music sometimes, but I love it. I love it.
Does it just hit you at once, like it just, then you know it? Or, how do you know when it's something you like, I guess?
A lot of times, sometimes I'll have to warm up to a new group. If I hear one song that I really like, I have to check them out. I have to listen to all their songs. I might not like all of them, but, eventually, I just might decide that, I really love this group. I'm going to add them to my list.
But, anymore, though, it's like back in the days, we used to listen to albums. Get together, and now it's,
I still do.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, though, the younger generation, it's just one song,
They're just random bits and bites, and just like everything's kind of just, out there for the taking, but I like to sink my teeth into a concept, every now and then, and albums are one media that I will continue to love. I just love the feel of a vinyl album, putting it on a turntable, and then, I listen to it, lay back, and I have to get up and flip it over, but,
Well, would you guys put out an LP? I mean, can you still do that?
Well, we could, but, I think it'll be probably more in the format of, release it on the internet or CD,
Right.
that format.
Now, have you thought about that with this band? Like the marketing concept? Do you got a plan, what you want to do?
Yes. Well, actually, we have talked about some of our brand new original music that we're playing out right now. We want to get it recorded, high quality recording of it, and then release it with artwork and everything, package it up real nice, and make it available to our new fans. Hopefully we will realize this, before the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And will it be on Facebook? You going to go that route?
Yeah, that might be one route we could take.
Okay. And then YouTube?
Reverb Nation. Actually, Reverb Nation is a good platform. I found a lot of great music on Reverb Nation, and we're on there also. So,
okay.
We will put our music on Reverb Nation when it's done and available.
I'm not familiar with Reverb Nation, but it's on the internet. Is it? You
Yes.
just look it up, Google it.
Yeah. Then you set up a profile, and musicians. It's strictly for music.
Okay. Do you got to pay to put your music on, or is it all?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'd punch up the name KZZ Project, and up the music would come. Okay.
Yeah.
Does it bring graphics too, like artwork? Does that show too? Or?
Well, you can put your pictures, photos, artwork on there, which, I plan to do also. We've got a few photos on there of the band at this point, but it's just the very early stages. I set it up not too long ago, so, it's we're just barely starting with it.
We talked about influences. How about inspirations? When you write something, is it something you're out driving around, you see something, does that make a song for you? Or, I know these are tough questions, but I just love your music, but, it's very creative. So, I'm just trying to see what the listeners, too, where it comes from.
Yeah, it comes from all directions. Nature, people, things that people do, movies, books. I love reading books. I get a lot of ideas from books, and I mull them around in my head until, I get visuals in my head, and these visuals are accompanied with sound,
so you hear the music kind of in your...
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
So can you turn it off, or is it always like...
Yeah, no, I don't sleep much. I'm up all night. My head it's full. I can't shut it off.
Well, what's some books you read? Is there any favorite authors you get into?
I love one of my favorite authors probably would be Aldous Huxley.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, one of mine, too. Well, I haven't read him in a long time because, but wow. Yeah, that goes way back.
Okay, what would you like to drink?
Well, we're back at the cafe. We're getting ready. Again, we'll go over what we got coming up. The Phoenix, Friday night, will be Red Alert. Saturday will be Trouble Walking. At the 5-Star Dive Bar, we got Shock Roxy on Friday night. And Saturday will be Drive. And, of course, we're talking about the South Bend Record and CD show. That'll be September 28th, Sunday, and from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Comfort Suites. That's on 52939 State Road 933, Cleveland Road. And that'll be great, so come there.
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
Yeah, well, you say you go there, right?
Yeah, I try to make all of those.
Oh, so how big's your LP collection? You
well,
got that?
I mean, it's more CDs nowadays, but, I will walk out of there with a few albums occasionally.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've lost all mine. I remember moved out of the house and all of a sudden everything disappeared. So, and that was the Just for the Record days. I remember the sleeves and everything, all the good stuff. So, well, hey, we're going to start another song. This is Of Serpents and Secrets. And Ed, why don't you give me a little intro of what this song's about?
It's really just an instrumental. It's just it's hard to describe. It's kind of ambient. It kind of builds. There are some overdubs in it, some guitar overdubs. It just kind of winds its way around, and hence the Serpents part of the title is what it reminded me of. So I'll let you all be the judge.
All right, here we go. Of Serpents and Secrets, KZZ Project. we're back with Ed Kurowitz with the band KZZ Project. Ed, why don't you introduce the band again?
Okay.
Members.
The members of our band. Gary Zapolsky.
How do you spell that?
Zap. Zap for short. John Zane. Zane. There's the two Z's right there.
Hey, how'd you guys meet, anyways, way back when?
Yeah, well, I've known Gary for a long time, since my high school days. And actually, I played bass guitar when I first started out, and Gary played guitar back in those days.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then, I've known him for a long time. We jammed periodically through the years and till we formed a Web of Lies back in the 80s. So, we've been good friends, all our lives. John, actually, I used to play with his older brother, Dave Zane, who plays with Zane's Way and currently is touring with the Buckinghams. Dave Zane is a fantastic musician, guitar player who I have a lot of respect for, and I had the opportunity to play with him, back in the 70s.
What were you guys playing back then? Covers? Was it 70s pop?
Covers,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
70s classic rock. And then John, his brother John, I didn't really know back then. I got to know him later on after I moved to South Bend from Chicago with my family. We started playing together, and we've grown to be good friends, real good friends, the three of us. I hope we continue to play music for the rest of our lives together.
Wow, that's fantastic. I hope so, too, because,
Thanks.
As you say, your career has been, almost 30-some years of playing music?
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, to keep a friendship through all those years, with going in and out of bands, that's really remarkable. And it's a true sign of being true and being a friend. First. I really think that's what it's all about, besides the music and everything. So, well, hey, we got a song coming up, and this is Eddie's request. It's called Baby You're a Rich Man by the Beatles, and you guys play this too. Why don't you give me a little bit of that?
Yeah, we play a handful of Beatles songs, and this is one of them. It's a little more obscure. It's not a song that you would hear by a lot of groups around here, but we like to pick out the obscure songs. We do Tomorrow Never Knows. We do several songs by the Beatles, but this is one of them. We love this song.
So when people come out to see you, do you do mostly originals, or do you mix it up with a lot of covers?
Mostly covers, but we throw a handful of originals in there, and hopefully that balance will even out. As we progress, we want to include a lot more originals.
And people can dance too, right? It really gets on stage, gets some good dancing music.
We play some blues. We do some old blues. We do
Killing Floor. You still do Killing Floor?
Do what?
Killing Floor. Do you remember
No, we don't do that one.
Oh, okay. That was one of my favorites.
And we do a lot of surf music.
Really?
Yeah, we love surf music. Link Ray. We do Link Ray, Wooly Bully. Lost Straitjackets. We do something by the old the Bel Airs. We do Miserlou, Jack the Ripper, Wipeout. It's just great stuff. It's a lot of fun, and people love to dance to that too. Surf music will never die.
And, of course, did you see Dick Dale when he was in town?
I did. I saw him both times he was here this last 2 years.
Oh, wasn't that great?
Just amazing. He's like it's almost like seeing Jimi Hendrix right there. I was right at his feet.
I know. It blew me away, too. It's like, wow, one of the originals. The guy on the radio, you go, wow, I can't believe this. And I know. Wait, we're coming up. This will be by the Beatles, Baby You're a Rich Man, on Iconic Radio. We're going to finish up with a little Alanis Morissette called Iconic. Eddie, thank you very much. This was a great show. We'll have you back.
I was honored to be on your show, Bruce. Thank you for having me.
All right, sounds good. And where's your gig? Your next gig is where?
October 25th at the Hoosier Tap.
All right.
It's going to be a costume party, so, come in your costume and maybe win a prize.
All right, sounds good. Bill, always appreciate it. Thank you very much for letting us be on XERS. And this is Iconic Radio. We'll finish up the song and we'll go back to the station. Thank you.